Secret Rituals, Freemasons.
Fredericksburg, Virginia,
Episode
1752. A young
Part
man
2.
of 20 is blindfolded. His name is George Washington, and he is about to take the Freemasons' blood oath of secrecy.
His initiation was done very much the way initiations are done now. He was blindfolded, then he was led into the meeting room, knocked on the door 3 times, and when the door was opened, he was received on the point of a sharp instrument against his naked left breast, and then once that was done, he took the obligation at the altar. And then his blindfold was removed, and he finally was allowed to see all the men in his lodge, and they were all pointing their swords right at him, which was to reinforce the obligation that he had taken, that he better not reveal any of the secrets of Freemasonry.
Even today, candidates for membership in the Freemasons are subjected to secret rituals.
When you enter a lodge room, you enter what's called the Tyler's room. And there's an officer outside called the Tyler who's armed with a sword. And yes, you have to give him a password and the secret handshake. We really do have a secret handshake.
The role of secrecy in Freemasonry is especially difficult when you get to such things as handshakes, because Freemasons had to identify themselves sometimes in the dark. I'm not going to show you the handshake, but what I'll tell you, it's not really a handshake. What it is, it's a grip.
Like ancient initiations in many human cultures around the globe, Masonic initiation involves a series of ritual challenges, sacred obligation, and the imparting of certain information to enlighten the candidate. If a man can't be trusted with something that is not that important, like a password or a handshake, he can't be trusted with the big things in life.
Every Masonic lodge is said to be facing the east. There's the letter G that's also in the east over the worshipful master. The initiate is brought to the center of the room where the altar is. There'll be a Bible on the altar. When the initiate is brought to the altar, he finally assumes the obligation of his individual degrees. There are 3 degrees: the entered apprentice, the fellow craft, and the master mason. When we talk about the secrets of Freemasonry, we talk about the things that are passed along in this oral tradition. It's the act of one man sitting down and teaching the ritual to the next man in that unbroken chain of men that goes back to the early 1600s. Of course, any more than that, and I just can't tell you the rest. You've got to join to find out.
Masonic rituals have changed very little over the last 2 centuries, and upon initiation, each new member swears a lifelong vow to protect the Brotherhood's secrets. A vow that, if broken, could mean death.
In some of the Masonic documents that we have, we do learn about Masonic trials, and if you're found to have given up the secrets, then you can be killed. People were rumored to have their throats slit, hung, forced underwater until they died.
What goes on behind the doors of a Freemasonic lodge involves ceremonies in which people will be reminded of the ever-hovering presence of death.
Masonic trials? Ritualistic executions? What actually goes on behind closed doors of a Freemasonic lodge may forever remain a mystery. But the details of one ritual, reenacted during initiation ceremonies, have been revealed. The murder of Hiram Abiff.
Hiram is presented in a very dramatic way to the candidate for the degrees of Freemasonry. Hiram was a special craftsman who was asked to do very special work by King Solomon in ancient times.
In the 3rd degree, the Master Mason degree, tells an allegorical story of the building of King Solomon's temple and how Hiram Abiff is possessing of certain secrets of the Master Masons, and how he's set upon by 3 ruffians who don't want to wait until the proper moment to find out what those secrets are. And they attack him. And he goes to his grave refusing to say what the secrets of a Master Mason are.
He was conspired against, he was murdered, and he is a kind of symbolic martyr within Freemasonry.
The term "given the third degree" actually comes from the Master Mason degree, where everybody tries to, let you have it and really works you over. And if you've been given the third degree and you can take it, it means you've kept your mouth shut.
Mysterious handshakes, secret passwords, passion plays of murder. Are these merely harmless practices of the Freemasons, or ancient rituals designed to confuse the uninitiated?
We've got all those different degrees, and most Masons believe that it only goes up to the 33rd degree, but we have seen clear evidence that people can go higher than the 33rd degree. They've been doing it for thousands and thousands of years, and even their own members don't have the whole image. The average Mason believes there's only 33 degrees, but once you become a 33rd degree Mason, you learn that there's actually 360 degrees.
Within Freemasonry, you've got a huge outer circle of membership. They're in there for the fellowship, and then you've got a small inner circle that really is privy to some of the inner secrets. But if you ask a Mason about these two circles, he's going to tell you no, because he's either a member of the outer circle or he's a member of the inner circle, and he's taken a blood oath never to reveal that fact.
Inner circles, guarding inner secrets? But what information could be so important that Freemasons would risk their lives in order to keep it hidden from outsiders? Perhaps clues can be found by examining the many strange symbols that can be found on numerous documents and buildings, even on the currency that we carry with us every day.
Got it?
Got it.
It's slippery. Excuse the commercial.
Yes! Quick! The quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less.
Hey, look. I got it.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
These days, taking care of yourself is more important than ever.
Shut up!
One way to do
piece of
that
trash.
is to lose weight.
God, you're such
And the
an
best way?
embarrassment.
Nutrisystem.
Act now and get 50% off a month of meals and shakes delivered to your door.
Anything that you have.
Whoa, Susan.
Oh, I'm looking for coupon codes.
Well, Capital One Shopping instantly searches for available coupon codes and automatically applies them. It's called shopping smart, not hard.
But I don't have a Capital One card.
You should get one, but you don't need it for this. Just download Capital One Shopping to your computer. It's free.
Ooh, save me some cheddar.
So, when's the party? I love fondue.
Really?
I never joke about hot cheese, Susan.
Me neither.
Capital One Shopping. Kind of genius. What's in your wallet?
We believe in the power of helping hands.
Oh, mess your kids.
Teamwork that works.
How dare you?
So you can find ways to stay close.
Sicken me. Back to the show. Thank God. Jesus Christ. Thank Jesus Christ. Heavenly Father. Not
It
they
is
call
one
God.
of the most
Yep.
important documents ever written. It is the very foundation of our government. But while the Constitution of the United States is written in plain English, there are those who believe that America's founders used Masonic symbology and codes to communicate
They
a
do.
secret
They're everywhere.
agenda.
The language of Freemasonry is a language of symbols. Symbols hide universal truth, and the idea is that each individual gets to discover those on his or her own.
Washington was very fond of and drawn to the symbols of Freemasonry. He was proud to be a Freemason.
How embarrassing.
You do have
Yes,
depictions
now it
of
is.
George Washington, for example,
Yes,
wearing
there
his
was.
Masonic apron, and these things are filled with all kinds of occult symbols, the all-seeing eye, the square and compass.
If there is a logo of Freemasonry, it's the square and compass with the letter G. The square is the square of virtue and teaching someone to be on the square, and it's a right angle. The compass is used to draw circles, and Freemasons say that you circumscribe your character with that. If you draw a circle with a compass, you're drawing a boundary line, and that's sort of a boundary that you won't cross over that boundary in your daily behavior.
What is the G? G, most people would say, that's God. And it is held between the square and the compass, so therefore it's central to everything. But it also can be related to geometry, sacred geometry.
And in fact, God is the grand geometrician of the universe. The Freemasons believed that God was an architect, the great architect of the universe.
To this day, one of America's most recognizable symbols, the Great Seal of the United States, remains shrouded in mystery. In 1934, Freemason and soon-to-be Vice President Henry Wallace submitted a proposal to fellow Freemason and President of the United States, Franklin D. Roosevelt, to include the symbol on U.S. currency.
Henry Wallace and Franklin Delano Roosevelt were influential in putting the Great Seal of the United States on the dollar bill. Prior to FDR's presidency, the backside of the Great Seal didn't appear on the dollar bill.
You can see this fascination for ancient Egyptian symbols, pyramids. All of these things get repeated in the ideas and symbols and ceremonies of Freemasonry.
The pyramid was meant to stand for strength and endurance, to reflect the hope that the United States would be strong and would endure. The Great Seal was a way to express the original values of the American Republic, that we were an experiment in democracy. That's why the pyramid's not finished, because a democracy's never finished.
They understand the power of symbolism. You will find no better example of the power of this ancient secret society as you see on the back of the dollar bill. There's the pyramid, one of their most holy symbols, the all-seeing eye. And around it, it says in Latin, if you translate it, we are announcing the birth of a new order.
Because the phrase Novus Ordo Seclorum appears in the Great Seal of the United States, Freemasonry becomes such an element of distrust by those who think that we're about to be replaced by a new world order.
Did the Freemasons use symbology to communicate the existence of a new world order? If so, what other secrets can be found hiding in plain sight? Washington, D.C. Just 1 mile north of the White House stands a massive stone building at the corner of 16th and S Street. It is the House of the Temple, the headquarters of the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. Its members are believed to be part of a lineage that dates back to 16th century Scotland.
The Scottish Rite is what's called an appendant body of Freemasonry. Once you go through the first 3 degrees in a Masonic lodge, you're then eligible to join other organizations within the family of Freemasonry. The Scottish Rite, which has degrees 4 through 33.
This particular location has the address 1733, which represents the 33 degrees of initiation in Scottish Rite Freemasonry.
The big secret is the address actually came out to 1733, even though that isn't actually where it is in the plan of the city, because they wanted 33 as part of the address. 33 appears all over the building.
There are 33 columns around the House of the Temple. Each one of them is 33 feet tall, symbolizing the 33 degrees of initiation in Scottish Rite Freemasonry.
So 33 for centuries has been a sacred number. It goes back to biblical times. Christ was 33 years old when he died. He performed 33 miracles. God is mentioned 33 times in the first chapter of the book of Genesis.
The House of the Temple, like all Masonic edifices, contains many secret symbols, even in its design.
Even the steps that I'm walking on are symbolic in number. Down at the street level, we start off with 3 steps, symbolic of the 3 degrees in standard Freemasonry. Then we have 5 steps, which symbolize the 5 orders of architecture and the 5 senses. Then we have 7 steps, symbolizing liberal arts and sciences from medieval times. And finally, here we have an unfinished pyramid atop the House of the Temple. And of course, that's a resonance to the unfinished pyramid on the Great Seal of the United States as well. Should we imagine an all-seeing eye up there? Perhaps we should.
It's actually a copy of the mausoleum in Helicanarsis of King Moslos, which was a burial tomb in one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world.